Welcome everyone to the Public Utility meeting. It is Tuesday, April 9th, 2024, and we'll start with roll call.
All righty, so Andy Hassan, Carrie Rice,
Here.
Joyce Hall,
Here.
Susie Coram,
Here.
Pat Nolan,
Here.
Dave Preisel,
Here.
and Scott Snyder.
Thank you, Michelle. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from March 12th. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second. Thank you, Susie. Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposition? And motion carries. New business, item 3.1, action on well number 7 rehab proposals.
Okay, so in your packets, every year we do a couple wells. This year we're actually doing well 7. So we will be pulling that well out, completely rehabbing that well. We did go out, we got 3 proposals through the process. Keys Well Drilling, C2W, a municipal well and pump. The proposals include labor to remove the well and to reinstall. Now, these do not include any parts that may be needed to replace the well once it's pulled and inspected. So it's just like past projects, you know, we'll pull it out. They'll take it back to the shop. They'll take a look at it. We will actually take the motor in and have the motor itself gone through at a local motor company here in town. So with that said, the Keys Well Drilling did come in at the low bid of $25,867.50. And this is a budgeted item for the well rehabs. So unless there's any questions on these, the staff is recommending Keys Well Drilling in the amount of $25,867.50.
Yep, I'll make that motion. Keys, in the amount of $25,867.50.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any discussion or questions? Hearing
Have
none.
we used keys before?
Yeah, we've used Keys numerous times in the past. It's just been the last couple of years we've actually other companies have outbid them or underbid them. And I do apologize for the way the formatting came out in your packets. I don't know what happened there, but you can read it. It's just a little difficult to read. So it's kind of, things got split up. So I do apologize for that.
All right. We had a motion and a second. Are there any more questions or discussion? Hearing none, let's put it to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposition? Motion carries. New business, item 3.2, action on 1201 Livingstone building addition proposals.
Okay, so the building, you know, the addition that we've been talking about for a while now, I had brought that back up to the PUC, and asked kind of what your wishes were in terms of if you wanted me to go out and try to find some companies, get some proposals on a start to finish product. So basically it's going to go from design all the way through construction, through the end of construction. So that's kind of what we did, going through what we had talked about last time. And when I met with the five companies that submitted proposals on this, we are anticipating, you know, construction costs anywhere between $2 to $2.5 million. Now that is just initial. It doesn't mean that we're going to be at that number. That's just kind of what we needed a number to, so the companies can have something to propose. So with that said, we did get 5 proposals. I have gone through them. They're all basically the exact same thing on what I am asking them to do. We had proposals from Birchbach out of Kimberly. We had Cedar Corp out of Menominee. We had Ortel Architects out of St. Paul, SEH out of St. Paul, and Market and Johnson out of Stillwater. with this project, I do plan on using reserve funds, which we've talked about. And we will be splitting this on a 50-50 basis, because it will be housing water and wastewater. So with that, the proposals did come back. Like I said, I went through them. They're all very, very similar in terms of what they proposed. It was a pretty hefty packet that I sent out to them, which listed everything that we were looking for. And then we also received back their proposals in terms of written. So I do have hard copies of each proposal, and we also received them electronically. So unless there is any questions on this, so basically what we'd be doing tonight is, if you approve this, this would start the process of designing the building. Now, obviously, there's things that would be coming back to you for, once we kind of get a design laid out, what it's going to look like, different things like that. We're not looking at adding anything a whole lot, in terms of there's no bathrooms that need to be done or anything along that line. So basically, it's just it's adding on to our existing garage structure that we currently have that's just undersized. So with that said, you can see the proposals in front of you or on the issue sheet and what they came in at. And I guess I'll just kind of leave it there in terms of if you guys have any questions for me, or we would need a motion on one of the proposals to move forward with this. So.
Does anyone have any comments? Or I have some thoughts, but anyone on?
Before in the past,
Sorry, David, I was coughing. Say that again.
who of these companies have we used in the past?
Well, obviously, we've used Cedar Corp in the past for other engineering work. We've used SEH in the past for other engineering work. We have used Market and Johnson. I have not used Market and Johnson. The city of Hudson has used Market and Johnson. And I know Oratel was Public Works. I don't know if they've used them, but I know that they've received proposals and they have worked through them in the past with when they were actually looking at designing and building their own facility before they purchased one out in the industrial park. So I don't have an issue with any of them. The advantage, some advantage would be location. Obviously, they're all pretty close with the exception of Birschbach out of Kimberly. But when you go through the proposals and look at them, they're very, very similar. And I wouldn't have any problem working with any of them, to be honest.
Did the commission see the packet that went out?
Yeah, that's why your packet this month is 255 pages.
Oh, that's the packet you sent out is included with this one.
The packet, the proposal you did not see. No.
Oh, could we get to take a look at that?
Yep, I can get that to you. That's not a problem.
Okay.
David,
Market,
go ahead, Pat.
I was just gonna say Market and Johnson together with that Studio EA is the most local. If that's a factor, using local.
Is that something that Studio EA could do?
Yeah, Studio EA is the one that's actually, if you remember back when we were looking at adding a building, not an addition. Studio EA is who I actually use to do all that work. So they're very capable. Again, that Oratel Architects is actually going to be using Ayers and Associates, which is a very large engineering firm. They're comparable to a Cedar Corp type thing. So, between Market and Johnson, yeah, they're out of Stillwater. The local architect here is out of Hudson. Oratel is out of St. Paul, and their Ayers is they're big. I don't know if they're nationwide, but I've worked with Ayers before numerous times. Ayers was one that was on the Highway 35 project when we did that for the state of Wisconsin. So I don't have a problem working with any of these. Now, I don't know how that works. There is about a $800 and some dollar difference between Oratel and Market and Johnson. I don't know how that works, if you would take Market and Johnson, not being the lowest bid, I'm not sure.
I'll make a comment on Market and Johnson. When I looked through these, you know, doing our obligation here as you do, Kip, we want to look at the lower prices for the quality. But when I look at Market and Johnson, for that $800 difference on a project this large, it seemed pretty small. And then I looked at the projects that they had done successfully here in Hudson, and you know, their names are all over every major big project locally. So I was impressed with that.
They did the fire station.
Yeah, they've done work for Hudson. I know that they're doing other work, you know, they have other projects in town. And I know that they did point a lot of that stuff out, in their proposal too, so.
Yeah, they've did the storm repairs for the beach house, the library.
Right.
Storage facility, city hall renovation.
Yeah,
So
they've been very good, you know, from what I understand or talking to other departments that have worked with them. I mean, they've been very good to work with. No red flags came up. I guess that's the best way to put it.
So going back to a question that David had, David, do you feel that you would need to look at the specs of what was sent out before you could make a decision on this question before us?
Yeah, that was the first question. The second question would be exactly what Kip asked. You know, an $800 or, you know, a little bit over $800, you know, what are our parameters in regards to accepting bids? You know, that'd be the second one. The first one would be, yeah, what's the scope of the project? You know, looking at these numbers, it's roughly 10% of the cost.
Right.
Oh, that seems right in line. 8 to 10% is exactly what, you know, is typically in line with what we're looking at building. Some a little higher, some a little lower. But those two, I would rather, from a commission standpoint, you know, I want to see what the scope is. Yes, we did talk about it at one time. I'd like to see the scope package. And then, you know, Kip, I know you've done your due diligence. You probably had the guys look at it. You know, what's going to work best for both, you know, water and wastewater in regards to the utilities and stuff like that. Make it as streamlined as possible. But from a commission standpoint, I think it would be well worth to take a look, you know, to postpone it, you know, for another month. Just to make sure everybody's on the same page. If there are any discrepancies. And then also, you know, it's, you know, $2.5 million again. We just came off of a fairly large wastewater spending, which I think is completely wrapped up. And I just want to do our due diligence on this. So we know it's time. As the community grows, we need to grow as well.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, if you want to, it's not going to hurt anything pushing this a month. This isn't like a project that we have to get done immediately. So I have zero issues. I'll send out the proposal packet to you guys yet tonight, just through an email so you can take a look at it. And then I will also get clarification on what are our options if we decide to go with the non-lowest bid. I guess it's a question I have too, and I'm not sure what the answer is to that. So I can always run that past legal and see what their response is, and then we can bring this back next month.
Wonderful, thank you.
But
Kip.
I have a question on page 232 where it talks about the preliminary project cost opinion with the low range, mid range, and high range. Did they hone in on that anywhere at all? I didn't see where they got more specific.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Page, yeah, 232.
I know right where you're talking.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're talking, it's gonna be 218, I believe, if you're on the web. Well, maybe, is that where you're talking, Susie?
Well, I was looking at page 232 and I wasn't sure what that was because that doesn't line up with the other numbers.
On yours, Kip, it might be 218 because you've added the agenda in our minutes.
Okay, hold on, I'm just reloading here.
I think the
I
top.
found it on page 232 of 255.
Yes, right, correct.
At the top, it says site concept. Is that the one you're looking at, Susie?
Site concept and preliminary project cost opinion.
Are you on the
Yeah.
Market in Johnson?
No,
Yes,
Yep.
it's Studio EA, and I was just wondering what those numbers were referring to. It's the site concept and preliminary project cost opinion from Studio E EA.
we're
So
looking at,
2 million
Yeah.
up to 3 million, is that what you're looking at, Susie?
Yeah.
So in the packet digitally, I've got page 220 out of 223. When clicked on that,
Okay, I see where you're talking. So basically, since we don't know exactly what we're gonna do, we kind of just came in with a concept of, we need additional space. So if you look at the site concept, the plan that they kind of just put on there, the existing building and then the proposed addition. Basically what they're doing there, Susie, is just, we don't know how big of square footage we're gonna be doing exactly yet, so they can't really hone in on, so they're just using 10,400 square feet. And the market could be anywhere from that low range to that high range. We're hoping to keep that in the low range, but it just kind of gives us a parameter on that. And I know talking to Market and Johnson, when I did talk to them, they are very receptive to different ideas that might happen or that they know of. Basically, there's other engineering things that we can do that possibly could save us money in this. But once you get into with the architect, that's when you can actually sit down and say, okay, we've already got some of this design done. We've got different site studies that we've already had done with the previous project that we were looking at. So a lot of that kind of stuff comes into play.
Okay, and I understand all that. I guess what I'm wondering is it's saying estimated costs back to the issue sheet here. It's saying estimated costs for construction are between 2 and 2.5 million. Market
Correct.
and Johnson is bidding at 195,000. What's the rest of it?
The
Where are we
construct-
getting to?
If
What?
if
The
if you go up a page, project costs and fees, you have
Right,
a lump,
Ye-
so it says lump sum fees based on 2.5 million construction. So basically they're taking 2.5 million, which is
they're
what,
just costing out the product, I mean, the individual pieces of it.
yes, so
Okay.
basically they're saying their design fees 120,000, construction management fee is 75, and then the total design / build fee is 195,000. So and then that's where they get their 195. So basically, that's from start to finish.
Got it.
right. Are there any more questions on this agenda item? All right, that'll get deferred to next month.
Okay, yeah, we'll defer. I'll send out what I had sent out for proposals to you guys yet tonight. And then we will just forward this or move this forward to May.
All right. The next agenda item then is item 4.1, project updates and project status report.
Nothing's really changed. Once we get going here now on well, you'll start seeing some Lake Malibu crossing and some North Street, all that, like I said before, is going to be starting on Monday. And then once we get to the wastewater treatment facility plan, or no, I'm sorry, we will be adding the building addition once that is approved to that. So
No action needed on that item.
no action needed on that. No.
Agenda item 5.1, continuing compliance lab evaluation summary and closure letter.
So I wanted just everybody to be aware of this. The wastewater treatment plant had their DNR lab compliance evaluation down there. And we got the letter back from them. I included it in, and I just kind of wanted to highlight what was said in that letter about the staff that we have down there. It just says, I would like to thank you and all your staff for the assistance provided to me during the evaluation. I really enjoyed visiting with all of you and seeing your lab. I noted many exceptional practices employed at your laboratory. Data is very well organized, barometric pressure checks, preservation checks, scale calibration, pH calibration, and quality control samples were done at a frequency above and beyond what we require. Your analysis and all very knowledgeable and take pride in their work. To find a lab that has 0 deficiencies and only reminders is impressive. Thank you for your continued exceptional efforts to keep your laboratory in compliance with NR 149. So I just wanted to highlight that just to, give everybody a sense of the guys are doing exceptionally well down there. When the DNR points that out in one of their letters, that is something, thank you, David, that is something that they do need to be applauded for. They're very proud of that. A letter like when they get this is good for them too. But it solidifies that we have the right staff down there. That's for sure. So I just wanted everybody aware of that. That's why it is in your packet.
Well, congratulations to all of them. It's reassuring to know that they are doing such a good job.
Yeah.
And would you please send this to the newspaper and ask them to write an article about it? Because I think this is important.
Sure, I can do that.
Kip, make sure the team knows too that the commission and myself as a user of the product is very appreciative of letters simply like that. And from the bottom of our hearts, thank them.
I will definitely do that. Yes. Yeah, it's a good feather in our hat. That's for sure.
Nice to be recognized.
Yes. Yes.
All right, are we on to agenda item 6.1?
Yep.
Utility payables.
Move to approve?
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carries. All right. So at this point, we have an item on the agenda. Let me pull this up to make sure I get it correct.
Yeah, unfortunately, you do have to read that.
I have to read this. Okay, closed session. The committee may vote to go into closed session under Wisconsin Stat, section 19.85 parens 1, deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. In closed session, the committee will discuss the existing water and wastewater agreements with the Village of North Hudson. The committee may adjourn in closed session or may return to open session. If the committee returns to open session, the committee may take action regarding the existing water and wastewater agreements with North Hudson.
Okay, so now we do need a motion and a vote to go into closed session.
Move to
I'll
go
move
into closed session.
Oh, second that.
Jay's moved, David second. All those in favor say aye.
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 We are in closed session.
You have to turn off